Hello everyone, this is Tavani Kastula, Department of Periodontics and Preventive Dentistry from Government College, Hyderabad. Today I'll be talking about recent advances in restorative materials under these contents. To introduce any surface restoration should always have an intact integrity with the restoration, also the tooth substance. So failure of this can lead to subsequent micro leakage, which could lead to precursors of secondary caries, marginal staining, postoperative sensitivity, and pulpal pathology. So attempts have been made to give restorative materials which are very good in all mechanical properties and also respecting all the biological properties of the tooth. So let's see the advances in each material one by one. So considering amalgam, our traditional amalgam is a little it has been laid in the back bench because of the aesthetics, and also the tooth preparation is a little extensive. So people have tried combining different ends into our traditional amalgam. It was Puttagamar in 1928 who has combined gallium instead of mercury, because gallium is the only metal which has a similar melting point that of mercury. So in 1963, copper amalgam was introduced to enhance the mechanical properties of our traditional amalgam. People have tried combining fluoride with amalgam from 1966 by Innes and Eudilis because they wanted the tooth to be resistant from acid attack. This was possible when fluoride was also included. In 1989, Powell et al. Combined indium-containing alloys. This is because they wanted to reduce the mercury content in our traditional amalgam. Restorations done by indium-containing alloys are usually a little dry because mercury content is greatly decreased, and primary and secondary expansion of the restoration is relatively decreased. And it was Lashmer et al. In 1994 who has given consolidated silver system. In this system, like as we see in this picture, the silver ions are very much closer to each other, where like because of the close silver ions, the compressive strength of the material significantly increased. These were the recent advances if we consider in amalgam. These are all non-bonded type. And if we were to speak about the bonded amalgam restoration, when Bunocore introduced acid etching concept into dentistry, early in 19th century, Baldwin had tried combining this uh, etching technique to amalgam restorations as well, where it's tried combining all the mechanical properties of amalgam and also marginal seal that inherent to adhesive materials. So whenever we're placing this type of bonded amalgam, we are supposed to etch the tooth completely and later place a resin liner and then place amalgam restoration. So this resin liner is an anaerobic adhesive one because it does not work in presence of oxygen. So as soon as we place the resin liner, we are supposed to introduce the amalgam quickly into the restoration, because if the resin liner gets oxidized, we cannot expect good bonding of the amalgam with the dentine. In this type of restorations, there is reduced tooth preparation because we don't have to follow all the primary and secondary resistance and retentive features. And however, carving is so little difficult with bonded amalgam because the material sets very quickly and we do not have enough working time. Now moving on to glass ionomer cements. If we have to have an overlook of the GIC and advances, it is as follows. Conventional GIC was there were little disadvantages of conventional GIC compared to our now whatever we are using. Why we had to discard conventional GIC is because the material was susceptible to dehydration, and also the material was very sensitive to moisture. It was very difficult for clinicians to perform in cases where there is increased salivation, and also especially in pediatric patients where we do not have enough working time with that material. So people have tried modifying these cements with water-based metal reinforcing and ceramic reinforcing, and also resins have been incorporated. And these are the recent advances in GIC. We'll deal one each. So if you'll have to check the milestones of the development of glass cements in dentistry, it is as follows. In 1969, 1970 mid, Wilson and Kent et al. Have given GIC. This is one of the super material where it is considered a hybrid of both phosphate and also the dental silicates. This was considered as a revolution because the restorative material was very aesthetic in appearance, and also there was significant fluoride release, which is a win-win in both the ways. Later in 1977, people have incorporated silver into GIC, and then resin modified have come in 1980. 1990, light cure GIC has come, and 1991, like three modes of curing GIC is popular now. And in 2007, nano-iomer technology has come. And in 2008, people have tried combining bioceramics to conventional GICs. So water-based GIC, here the uh, liquid contains water and not polyacrylic acid. So Chemfill and Cataxen are radio-opaque substances similar to IC, and they are water-based cements. And next modification was Miracle Mix, where they have tried combining all the properties of GIC and amalgam together, but the Miracle Mix looked very much similar to an amalgam restoration. The aesthetics did not improve, but it had all the compressive strength property similar to that of amalgam, and it had significant fluoride release like that of GIC. Miracle Mix is not aesthetically pleasing, so attempts have been made to modify it much better. Later, Ketak silver applicap from 3M was used. Here, silver particles were reinforced into the GIC, where centering was done between the silver and glass particles. So these are the modifications of GIC. And also there is one modification where we'll have to talk about the resin modified GIC, where resins have been incorporated into glass ionomous cements. When resins were incorporated into glass ionomous cements, it was to improve the working and setting time of the material, because clinicians face many issues with conventional GIC regarding the working and setting time. So Vitribron from 3M and a light cure GIC type 2 from GC. These are the two initially used resin modified glass ionomous cements. They have shown very promising results with respect to fluoride release, with respect to working time, setting time, with respect to aesthetics, and also increased bonding to the tooth was also observed. And if we'll have to compare our traditional GIC, RMGIC, and Compomer is nothing but a material which is used, which is made of composites and ceramics, where they have tried combining the best properties of both. So if we have to see, the working and setting time is relatively increased in resin modified GIC and Compomer, and moisture sensitivity is being significantly reduced, aesthetics have been dramatically improved, and fluoride release is a little questionable in between these three materials. However, high fluoride release was seen with respect to conventional GIC, and flexural strength improved over these materials. So these are the RMGIC, Nexus RMGIC, recently introduced into dentistry. And this Nexus RMGIC, it is a dual cured material and direct flow. This is a compomer restorative material which functions like a flowable composite, but still it can be condensed or it can be cured at a depth of 6 mm. These are other advances in GIC. Now first let's talk about reverse self-cure. Here the reverse self-cure is a material which is modified GIC, where it is self-curing or it is self-hardening. You don't have to use any light cure unit for this material to set. Also, Next, the Fuji 9 from GC and Ketak Mola from 3M. These are two highly viscous type of GIC, where these materials are relatively these materials are relatively highly viscous, and they don't have to be they're very easily manipulated and easily used in pediatric patients. And then came the Equia Forte. It is known as easy, quick, intelligent, and aesthetic material. Again, a modification of GIC. And clinicians are very happy with this material with respect to aesthetics, and polishability is also very good. And next came the material Beautiful. Beautiful is a material given from Shofu, where they have combined geomer. Geomer is a modification of GIC. This material is highly aesthetic and polishing ability is outstanding. And the unique feature of geomers is it shows fluoride release and recharge, which is in reversible concentrations from the oral cavity. That is, whenever the concentrations of fluoride is decreasing in the oral cavity, the fluoride from the restorative material reaches the oral cavity. And once the concentrations are in place, the fluoride is taken up by the material. So it is very much useful in pediatric patients and also in patients where there is dry mouth, xerostomia cases where we want more fluoride in their oral cavity to prevent further caries in the teeth. Now, to talk about zirconomer, it is a zirconomer reinforced glycinoma cement, where we see that zirconia is introduced into the powder. When zirconia was introduced into glycinoma powder, the aesthetics were not compromised. It looked very much similar to a natural tooth, taking all the advantages of glycinoma. With zirconia introduction, the biochemical properties and biomechanical properties of the material greatly improved. It could withstand a higher passive strength, and also it was termed as white amalgam because the strength is very much similar to that amalgam, but it is not based of amalgam. It is based of glass ionomer and zirconia. And to talk about the next material is Ketak Nano from 3M. It is again a glass ionomer restorative, which can be light cured. This material has nano fillers in them, which is used for for improved polishability. And the when fillers were introduced, the mechanical properties improved and the compressive strength of the material greatly improved. And now moving on to restorations. Composites, if we'll have to classify, it is classified based on restorative procedure, on filler particle size, based on chemical applications, and based on curing modes, taking all the advantages from different types of composites and curing modes and the clinical applications. Composites are combined to form newer resins. Newer resins are introduced in this materials. So to summarize, the flowable composites are as follows and packable composites are these. These are the recent advances. And flowable composites, this is GENEL Flow from GC. This is a flowable composite, and it is flowable like composite, and it is packable like amalgam. Because this material can be cured at a depth of 6 mm. Our traditional composites are generally cured at only 2 mm increment, but this material can be cured at time, improving the uh, setting and working time and decreasing the chair side time for the clinician. And also there is another material, bulk fill flow flowable composite. This material is having a different technology where interlocking of the particles is very tight, and this reduces the polymerization shrinkage to a greater level. Next, packable composites. It is highly viscous and pull like amalgam. The depth of cure is 4 to 6 mm. First given tetric serum. These are other materials, filling materials or packable composites. The filler content was significantly reduced, and Filtech from Supreme XT, it is a nano-filled composite with extremely good aesthetics and polishability. Next, they have tried combining titanium and silver particles into composites to achieve antimicrobial activity in the composites. The stimuli response materials are active composites. They are bioactive materials where they have worked on the pH control. Whenever the pH in the oral cavity drops, the material tries to bring back the pH to neutral levels by releasing ions. And there is a self-repairing composite that whenever a crack occurs in a composite restoration, the resin comes out of the crack and heals itself. So it is self-repairing and self-healing composites. It is under the brand name Cavifil Injector and Activa Bioactive Restorative Materials. And there is another composite which is a sonic fill composite. Here, whenever the material is introduced in restorative cavity, the material is activated by the sonic instrument. So this will reduce the voids in the material. So once we put the restorative material, we put this vibrator in the restorative cavity and vibrate it so that it goes and binds to all the cavity walls uniformly, and a good seal can be obtained and later light cured. Again, there is a shrink composite. Here they have tried to combine silurine in the monomer, which had a relatively less polymerization shrinkage than to our traditional monomers. And moving on to bioceramic restorations. Bioceramic restorations are restorations where ceramics are incorporated into the restorative materials to improve the bonding, to improve the compressive, tensile, and tensile strength of the restorative materials. So these are the materials which are under bioceramics. Amalgamer, this is a ceramic reinforced posterior restorative. It could be used for posterior restorations. It has a strength similar to that of amalgam. And then Magma NT, it is a nano ceramic restoration material. It is very recently introduced into dentistry. And Admira Flow is also another ceramic fused restorative material. And there is Ceram X. Basically, people have tried combining composites, amalgam, GICs with ceramics to improve the aesthetics and also the bonding and biomechanical properties. And to talk about our favorite zirconia. Zirconia has outstanding strength, and whenever we use it as a crown or either in a restorative material, it is having good aesthetics and high compressive strength, which can take up the migratory forces to a greater level. And also the wearing of the oppositional tooth is very minimal with respect to zirconia. And next, our MTA was very recently introduced into dentistry. People and many literature shows that it is used only for apexogenesis, apexification, and to complete our regenerative or revascularization procedures. But the MTA can be used as a restorative material because it has all the silicates which can withstand good masticate forces, and also biodentin can also be used as a restorative material because it mimics dentin in almost all the ways, and it could also use as a base in the restorative cavity. Now moving on to a very recent material, Cention. This is considered to be another alternative to amalgam with respect to strength. It is again a tooth colored material, but the classification is still not clear because people are in confusion whether we have to include it under composites or we'll have to include under alkasides, because the main composition of this material is alkasides. That is, it can release acid neutralizing ions, that is alkaline ions are released into the oral cavity whenever the pH in the oral cavity falls. And also there is increased release of hydroxide ions to regulate acid attacks. that is from the microbial organism in the oral cavity. Also, there is a super advantage is that it does not require a varnish like amalgam or a primer or curing device like our composites. So the future holds very much promising with Scention, but literature still does not show all these studies with respect to it. And this material may be the future of dentistry because aesthetically also it is claiming to be the best material. Now, if we'll have to talk about temporary restorations in our, like we use temporary restorations uh, to have a time lapse between like if we'll have to see the improvement of the indirect pulp capping or direct pulp capping, we wait the temperature restorative materials, and also we give the temperature restorations in between appointments. So the recent advances among these are reinforced zinc oxide eugenol cement, which are the brand names Zinconol, where resins are incorporated into ZOE to improve the physical properties and also the strength of the material. And there is another material based of ZOE and essential oils. It is M-Bond, which is applied in a dual barreled syringe. And this is also, but however, the strength is not great like other restorative materials, but still just for temporary purposes, this can be used. And taking all the advantages of ZOE, that is it is a pulp operant, we can happily use this for temporary restorations. So whatever be the restorative material, however recent it could be, a clinician should always be very cautious while using it because the marketing is very much overused with the biomimetic, or biomineralizing agents or bioactive agents. We'll have to be very cautious while we're using any restorative material, and always have a good literature review before using these materials. And always it is the uh, choice of the patient according to its affordability or according to the choice of the clinician and the tooth related factors that the restorative material is determined. These are my references. I hope this video is useful. In case you like the video, let us know in the comments.